right the ship, take whatever notes he's trying to make for himself, because Vincent is playing the better chess. He could easily be up a couple games in this match right now, if not for a couple time scrambles that got away. So, okay. Wow. Talk about a sharp opening change. Here we go.
Yeah, so Wesley spent his break looking at the game that was played just before the break, which is the easiest thing to do because it's on your screen. It was this opening, and clearly he was disturbed at how easily Black played g5, g4, and just got an amazing position. So he came back equipped with what to do, and the engine probably gave d4, e5 as the correct way to play. So he immediately played it. Responding quickly was Vincent, because obviously if you're playing g5, you know how to handle like the best moves. This is a very weird game, but I bet that Vincent is very much within his, let's say, opening prep.
Yeah, g5 is a pawn that's extended farther than you normally think of in a fianchetto situation, right? Normally g6 and h7, but also it's pretty safe right now, right? In fact, with the bishop coming to f5, you have a new home for that piece on g6 in a lot of positions. So it's a position where obviously the computer likes white a little bit, but Vincent wouldn't be playing it to Amon's point if he wasn't familiar with it. So yeah, fun stuff here in this line. I hope we get more of this opening. This is a tricky position.
I mean, very. Black in the opening moved a knight from, played g5 and moved a knight from f6 to h7 and is now equal in the middle game. So he's definitely prepared something. I wonder if it's going to be queen a5 here. Is that doing a bit too much? Otherwise,
Wow.
You probably want to take and play knight b4. And if you can secure that d5 square, things are going to be great. But if maybe white plays pawn d5, I feel the opposite.
Yeah, so interesting. Okay, well now that knight on d5 is popping in. You probably could have chosen either one. He moves the b knight in, and I love how much it came down to that square, whether white could get d5 and pressure in more space, or whether black controlled the square. A very level spot, and I like black's chances now with that bishop opening as well.
Yeah, this is the move pawn to d5 that I was talking about. I do like that white achieved it, and now I guess I'm wondering, is the move knight d2 worth playing or not? Like, do we want to have the bishop or the knight there? We might drop the b pawn, but there's a lot of counterplay coming as well. I could see the bishop being quite good.
Yeah, so Amon's looking at a line like knight d2, knight takes, bishop takes d4. Okay, we're going to get it, so I don't need to highlight it. The b7 pawn may be hanging in the end. Ultimately, Wesley says no. Maybe he should have. Maybe he should have taken it.
Yeah, f2 hanging. Got a queen trade here. Takes. Bishop is going to probably drop back and take. And the knight looks good, but I think just the tactics are flowing in the position for black. So the knight doesn't have enough time to look good. Like, if you could play knight e4, pawn to g4, get all those pawns on light squares, I just think you're like a move too slow.
Or if you had a pawn on b3 to put a knight on c4, but it's one of those spots where black's open file and the potential for the rook and bishop to work together is just so much more dangerous than anything else white has, right? White is, as you said, a few tempi behind for their rook and knight to be doing something, and now here comes rook c2, and Vincent is once again in the driver's seat, playing for a win here.
Yeah, he's going to play g4. I understand it. It's the move you wish was already included. White always wants to go for some sort of light square concept, but it should be too slow. And I think that this blue arrow is maybe to put that bishop on e5, Danny, where it just dominates the board.
Well, and I think it was also the only move according to the computer, because the threat was knight f6 check and maybe some sort of draw or repetition there, actually. I think that it was both necessary to guard f6 as well as relocate to the square you called. So yeah, black is in a great spot. Whenever you have pawns on two sides of the board, the bishop can really flex over the knight, because that bishop is going to help this pawn advance and kind of keep counterplay at bay. Okay, or simplify to a rook ending where you have this extra pawn and are playing for two results.
Yeah, I really like so bishop e5 was so good because you can't play knight g3 without being taken. There's no knight c3, knight g3. The knight can't go anywhere without the bishop capturing. And now I'm assuming you can kind of pick how you want to go about this position. You could just target the A pawn, but white is going to say, I'll play rook c7. If you take the A pawn, I take the B pawn. You're not really doing anything. This move, rook c7, I mean, what's going to happen
Yeah,
here?
and rook c8 check first, too. Force the king back to a square. He'll play f3, just block the check. And now actually, Wesley's in a much better spot here. This has already been called equal almost by the computer. So, yeah, that rook d2 was not the right choice. I think the one you called out going for the A pawn was a little more accurate there.
Yeah, because you could probably go for the A pawn and then maybe do something else after. Now, he's got an extra pawn. It's a rook endgame. There's probably great winning chances, just if you think about how black is always going to press. But the problem is the rook on d5 is guarding the A pawn. It's also in front of the D pawn. So it's very difficult to make everything work. And white's king is going to slide over pretty quickly, I think. King g4, king f4, king e4.
Yeah. Yeah, agreed. King f6. You're in a tough spot, though, because now that the rook is already in its ideal kind of defensive spot, which is spying the A pawn and able to kind of poke from the ranks at the F and D pawns, I think it's one of those positions where the defense is actually kind of easy for white, I think.
Yeah, if you move the rook, there's always rook takes a5, so it's very difficult to do anything. You can play king d5, but it does allow king f5, so it doesn't actually look so good. And I think Wesley is just going to hang out. Rook a8, rook a6. Like, he doesn't need to do anything.
Yeah, he'll check again, put the rook back on a8, and okay, check again even. Yeah, good call, because now if there's ever f5, you come up. So he's not even going to let Vincent have a king on g6 and h6 to play f5 check.
Ooh, and we see things transform. After rook h4, you know, the nerves start to kick in with king h5, rook a7. You're like, oh, could I lose?
I was going to say, if okay, wait. Now you're being pushed back, and here comes... What in the world happened there? Did you just blunder the A pawn?
Well, after king g7, white played king f4, and we're seeing mutual blunders here. This is now suddenly just an endgame full of mistakes, allowing rook g6. Yeah. This is a draw now.
Should be just rook d6, and you can't really guard both these pawns. Okay, pushing too far. Nice little trick at the end, but Wesley not allowing it. What will he do?
Yeah, I think you can just go after that D pawn, like have rook a5 or something, bring the king over.
Okay, simple.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Simple enough, and the players decide this has been enough, and we get a draw. Okay, I don't know who feels better about that draw at this point. I mean,